Are we on stream? Oh. Alright, welcome everyone. Saints Gaming League. I'm Billabang. And we got Dustin over there who'll be casting as well. We'll be here after picks and bans. But we're here for CLoL game number 2, League of Legends team. And we've already gone through some bans. We got a lot of mage bans in the mid lane. We got Lysandra, Cassio, and Zoe banned out. We also have a couple junglers, Lee Sin, Shaco, and Camille banned out. And you see Rochester picking up the Lucian Karthus. And St. Clair picking up Ezreal, and looks like we're hovering a Mumu. I don't know if we'll get that. Karthus has been very effective in the jungle. He can basically end a team fight with just his ult, so I'll definitely be looking to scale that up, use it as an advantage as we get later into the game. Lucian for some early pressure in the bot lane. See who they pair that with in a bit. I do like the Ezreal from St. Clair though. That offers a lot of overall damage. He's one of the most effective ADCs right now, and he can definitely play safe early game to counter the Lucian. And Sejuani picked up from Rochester, also very good jungler. Her buff she got in 9.1 definitely helped her out, becoming one of the top tier picks. It does mean that Karthus is most likely going to go mid instead of the jungle. We'll see who they ban out next. We've got a Vladimir ban, something towards that Aatrox on the top. So we do have a lot of power picks coming in the first phase. The only interesting one, kind of a little bit lower, might be Kindred, but we'll see how that's used later. A lot of utility banned out by St. Clair, the Cassio and Lysandra. And we'll see who they want to ban next. Orianna pick. Another control mage in the mid lane they're getting rid of. And I do want to talk about this Sejuani because that'll definitely have a big impact throughout the early game. We've got a Nivea ban coming out of Rochester. Something that could have dealt with the Karthus, but it's not available to them anymore. So we need a mid laner and we need a mid laner and a support most likely for St. Clair, although they could put the Aatrox mid and put someone else up top if they wanted to do that. And we can also see a Lucian mid and the Alistair ban coming out from St. Clair. Anyway, support for Rochester. And they will... Sorry, my bad. St. Clair and Rochester switched around on this. I just saw that. Yeah. So that is my bad. So they actually have the Karthus for St. Clair, who was a big pick for them. They did want to pick that up, and they were able to get it. So they're definitely looking for some more early game pressure with the Lucian Braum. Very good duo in the bot lane. The Karthus for the overall team damage that he can bring, especially as we get later into the game. Basically, press R, you can win a team fight very easily. And we got the final 2 picks for Rochester going to be Thresh and Vel'Koz. So Vel'Koz can poke out that Karthus. He can harass him a lot in the mid lane. And we might actually see a Xerath. So that would mean the Karthus would be moving up to top lane most likely, or we could see... I have seen a lot of top lane Sejuani as well, so we could also see that as a possibility. We'll see, yeah. So they're locking the Xerath, so Xerath's going to go mid lane. Karthus we could see go top, but he'll most likely be in the jungle. And we have Dustin give us more insight on some of your picks and what you think about the other team.
Hey guys. So yeah, the main point of this comp is we wanted some of the power lanes for Saints Gaming. Lanes that we either think are going to go even or strong to kind of support the Karthus moving into the mid to late game, and then just kind of outscale.
Obviously, with the Karthus.
I think we achieved our goals, and I think both teams really have an opportunity. I think it's really going to depend on how the lanes play out early game.
Yeah.
And see what team can get the advantage.
You can definitely dominate with that Lucian Braum in the bot lane. It's going to be... Although you can play pretty safe with Ezreal against that, they are going to put a lot of pressure on the bot lane. And obviously, Kindred versus Karthus. I do think the Karthus outscales out eventually, but Kindred can go pretty aggressive, especially when he hits 6.
For sure. And they do have to be careful with the Kindred ultimate, being able to protect a few people with Karthus. But as long as that Karthus is able to actually get into that ultimate with them, he's just going to be a huge nuisance for the team.
Yeah, for sure, because you can basically stand in the ult and just keep damaging them until they're reduced to nothing. But what do you think about the Xerath Vel'Koz lane?
I think a lot of it depends on skill matchup for Valkyries in the early game. He has more damage, but he has a lot shorter range with his W and E. But Xerath is going to be mostly focusing on clearing the early lane, wanting to build up those items, and he's just not going to have a lot of that early game damage to really poke him out. So a lot of it really depends on ganks, but ganks are going to be a little bit hard against these two.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I think, a skill matchup, just trying to poke each other out and stay up. They're both relatively squishy.
Yeah, for sure.
So
It's to me, well, it looks like we're getting in a game pretty soon. Last note, the Sejuani top. I've seen that quite a few times now. Does it play well into Aatrox, or does Aatrox kind of win that matchup?
So Aatrox definitely has the possibility of winning the matchup, but a lot of it comes down to Sejuani kind of just playing in between the queue. If you're able to dodge or get into the weaker points of the queue, you're not able to really put on enough damage of Sejuani, and Sejuani can really take advantage of her passive to make some of those big trades because of the huge percent damage on her E.
Yeah, for sure. She's definitely a big CC monster, and I'm just kind of looking at the team. They do have, you have your Braum. He has his poke. He has his little bit of CC for him. Sejuani, big CC. And I'm looking over at Rochester. I don't, I see the Thresh Hook. I see Vel'Koz's obviously going to have a little bit of AoE crowd control, but they don't have as much crowd control as St. Clair is going to be able to be. So I think, are you guys looking for more of a team fight style? Or are you looking for more of, keep your lane, like you have strong lanes, stay in your lanes so you get later into the game and then, go for more team fights? Because obviously by then your Karthus is going to be scaled up and he's going to be doing a lot more damage.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main plan for Saints Gaming, they're going to have to go into the early game, focusing on the lanes individually as well as tracking the Kindred jungle.
Yeah.
As long as they're able to track the Kindred jungle and hopefully deny some of her early marks, they should be able to then transition that into a pretty big team fighting. Everyone has a pretty clear-cut role for Saints Gaming into that, compared to Rochester, who has a lot more pick potential and kind of a lot more just front-up power in some of the early bursts, but does kind of lack some of the traditional engage of a comp.
Okay, so it looks like we're about to hop into the game here in just a second. And what do you think your biggest weakness is against this comp coming out of Rochester?
I think anytime you pick a Karthus, especially how early we grab the Karthus in the very first rotation, you give the enemy a lot of opportunity to pick an aggressive jungler that can help win lanes. And if anyone's able to snowball against a Karthus, it doesn't matter if you're able to do an ultimate that can take out half their health, if you can never actually scale to that point.
Yeah. So it looks like we're just getting into game here. We loaded on Summoner's Rift. And we got a nice new skin from Sejuani. Just came out. I do like that one a lot. I'm considering picking it up myself.
Yeah, the new skin line is a lot of fun, and I think both teams are here. They're just going to go into that 5. They're going to look to see where everyone is, and it looks like everyone's fanning out, and Saints Gaming actually looks like they might go in for the early invade, but they're going to get spotted out by the Thresh.
So you're going to sit in this bush for a while, see if anyone decides to poke their head out. Rochester's just kind of chilling at the invasion points along the river, making sure that Saints aren't going to cross over. But I don't think, if someone does manage to walk into this bush, they would probably go aggressive on them, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think level 1, it's going to be tough for Rochester to win any of those fights, so they're just going to stay back.
It's also interesting to note that Kindred is on the top side, meaning she's either going to try to invade for her first camp or grab the blue and then most likely do an invade and just kind of continue an aggressive style. Karthus, not necessarily forced onto his blue, but almost a necessary requirement to keep up a steady pace in the early game.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kindred actually coming down for the red.
Yeah, so she's going to take the red first, so they might just end up taking the same jungle path going up to the top lane.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see the Kindred force the split of the map and then try to support the Aatrox in the early game with an early kill. considering that there is a lot of power onto Aatrox with that early, just a lot of damage front loaded to his Q.
Yeah, for sure. He's been a power pick for a while in League. You can even see like last Worlds he was prevalent. Him and Urgot have just been, I've seen them everywhere. And it seems like they're not going away anytime soon. So
No, still played today in the
Yeah.
LCK and the new European League.
LEC?
LEC, yes,
LEC.
that's correct.
yeah, I was watching the LEC yesterday, and I was watching Urgot, and I'm like, oh, he got nerfed in 9.2. I wonder if that's going to do anything.
Yep.
And no, he's still a monster. He still can take on almost any laner in the top, and it's just okay. So we see a missed hook by Kizame, his first one.
Yeah,
There's quite a bit of poke going on in the bot lane, actually. So we'll keep an eye on that for now.
and we see the Kindred there going right from her red into the enemy red. Now going onto the chickens. Hopefully going to try to steal those away from Saints Gaming. Karthus spawning it out, and it doesn't look like they're actually going to fight. Just going to continue on with their path, but giving the 3 buff clear over to the Kindred in the early game.
You kind of it's hard to challenge as a Karthus early game. You kind of know you're gonna lose anytime you're gonna try and fight that. So you kind of have to let her take what she wants. And you see a hook. Aggression knocks him back.
Yep.
And hit a stun, but they're not going to go in on that. They're both half health each.
Yeah, lots of CC coming down from Rochester there, but Saints Gaming with the Lucian being able to just proc that Braum passive so fast, able to trade back pretty evenly there.
Yeah, so it does. And the one thing I do see is that, Ezreal and Thresh are putting up a lot of pressure in this lane. The Kleptomancy out of Ezreal will give him a lot of extra gold and a few extra...
Oh,
Looks like Lucian is going to survive with a little bit of health with the Ignite here, but if he lands this, first blood over to Rochester. And a small misplay from St. Clair gives 400 gold over to Rochester, unfortunately. And we'll see, Benzerk does seem to want to say, they can do probably 50 health there. And as I said, Ezreal has... and he actually backs in the wrong position.
Yeah.
Ezreal takes tower shot, but does not take a second. He's able to survive, and Rochester pick up the first 2 kills of the game.
and that's going to just be absolutely huge for Rochester in the early game. They're just going to be able to use that lead and just relieve a lot of the pressure that you would expect that kind of lane. And Valkov is just getting a lot of damage onto the Karthus there.
Yeah, they are both out of mana, so I think they'll just chill back. They'll farm a bit more, but I am surprised. I thought Lucian Braum would be putting on more pressure early game, but it looks like Rochester was able to make their way through that, and a couple good hooks by the Thresh were able to bring them the first 2 kills of the game.
Yeah, just a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Coming out from them, a lot of CC and a lot of hooks landing down there.
So the Sejuani top lane is going to be good a little bit later in the game, especially with ganks. It's really good with her Frost and her passive stacks, able to stun someone. And she has a lot of CC built into her kit. Unfortunately, Karthus is not necessarily an early ganker. He's more of trying to almost avoid lanes and try and power farm up his way to 6 so he can start shooting out those ults as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we see the mid laners backing. Farm is around even, I'm assuming. But we do see... So we see 450 gold bounty on Ezreal already. He's up 17 farm and 2 kills on Lucian, so that's not looking good for the bot lane, who we did expect to have a lot of pressure in the early game, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to be taken away. And Ezreal does have a lot of poke built into his kit, and when they reworked him, they gave him a lot of extra damage with that W mark on him now. And Braum dashing away from that hook doesn't look like anything interesting there. So they're going to be able to gain vision. If you look on the map, you can see there is a pink ward in the bush by Dragon, by St. Clair. So they do have a little bit more vision over there than Rochester does. But again, looks like junglers aren't really doing much. They're more power farming, trying to get their way up to a more aggressive stance. Karthus is not an active jungler per se, and there's already a lead built in bot lane for Rochester, so they don't really need to call in their jungler there. And mid lane is more of just poke city. And a couple plates taken by Rochester. I don't know if they got that second one, but took a plate, extra on 160 gold. And those plates are, that change on plates made it a lot a lot bigger in early game. If you're able to get a lot of turret damage, you can build yourself quite a lead.
Yeah, it does. It does help a lot of the champions who aren't always able to get kills, but able to push down in the early game. And we just see the Aatrox kind of bullying this Johnny in the early game, continuing a 20 CS lead. And St. Clair right here is just kind of hemorrhaging gold right now, and the flash coming out from Valkar, making sure he doesn't get killed by the ultimate.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking for that Karthus scale. The Lucian early game was what we were looking forward to, but unfortunately not able to take that. And it looks like it's going to be a clean dragon take by Rochester. No contest there. Karthus is in his jungle top lane, not necessarily around there. And it's kind of hard to contest something like that, especially with the bot lane in as big of a lead as it has, almost doubling the CS of its opposition. And get Vel'Koz's ult mid, stunned up by Xerath. And Xerath will survive with his life, about a quarter HP out of mana. Good stun put down, able to, instead of turning his back and letting the Vel'Koz just hail away on him, he put a stun down, stopped the channel, and was able to stay alive for now.
Yeah, definitely. They're both flashes down currently for the mid lane, so maybe even Karthus, depending on if he's able to path into that mid, might be able to apply some pressure and try to extend the zone of influence the Xerath has to maybe even help the side lanes passively.
Yeah, for sure. We do see the barrier is down for Xerath, and the heal is still up for Vel'Koz. So, we got a challenge here. Jungler's kind of caught out, and the Thresh Lantern will bring him back to safety. Be okay for now. Try for the blue steal, because that was a big thing for Karthus. Getting his jungle, you have to have that. You almost have to have that blue buff in the early game to be able to take a lot from where you're going. I think he was also going for the mark on the frog at the same time, but he was spotted out by a good ward from Apex and took care of him, forced him off the blue buff, and yeah. Oh, sorry, he did take that blue buff, actually. I didn't see that. Must have smited it away as he was leaving with that lantern.
Yeah. Yeah, Rochester's been doing a really good job right now, playing to the strengths of their lanes, and they seem to be ahead in just all of the lanes right now, anywhere from 20 to 30 CS, and if this lead continues, it's going to be a really hard time for St. Clair to come back into this game in the mid game.
Yeah, for sure. So we got the Thresh room up top. Swanee able to get out pretty fast. We got I think they're switching, might be switching a little bit here. The jungler came up as well, but Sojourner is able to get away from that, stay away from this, and it might allow some aggression from St. Clair in the bot lane to get a plate, which is definitely good for them because they have a lot of catching up to do. I do see that there has been smaller CS difference between the Ezreal and the Lucian, so he is catching up in that regard. Erwin got a flash from both junglers, and Kendra's going to go in, get the 1, 2, and is she going to get the third one? Let's see. Getting a couple turret shots, and the Kindred ult does save her. Oh, executed. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
so,
the Thresh in there actually coming out at such a clutch moment.
Big 1v1, and is she going to be able to get the stun? Oh, he doesn't get the stun proc. Unfortunately, that would have killed the Ezreal. It was a good try from the support, but unfortunately was not able to get that fourth proc. And because of that, Ezreal picks up a third kill, extends his bounty to 650 gold, and it looks like Rochester's taking a pretty big early lead in this game.
Yeah, right there, St. Clair failing in all three lanes right there. So kills coming out from top to bottom. And just a really good play right there by Thresh. The Lantern not actually saving Kindred, but denying the kill.
Yeah, for sure.
From Karthus. And the gold leads are just mounting. Ezreal has a huge bounty on him. And it might be the current best way back into this game is trying to get a kill on that Ezreal.
So you see the Sejuani going for the scuttle, caught out here, and she's not going to be able to make it over the Rift Herald pit, and another kill picked up for Rochester on their mid laner. So we do have some big CS leads for Rochester all around the map, and a couple big bounties on the ADC in the mid laner for them. So that might be the best way to get back into this game. They're at a 600 gold deficit actually right now, 5-0 for Rochester, and it's not looking too good for St. Clair right now, unfortunately. But we'll see how this game pans out. You know, the Aatrox is going to get a couple more plates on the top lane, and mid lane tower is getting close. Only got one plate left on the mid, and the bottom 2 plates left on top. And we got 1 plate taken in the bot by Lucian Braum, so that'll help him out a little bit. But they're going to have to do a lot more to be able to come back in this game.
Yeah. Karthus currently just sitting down bot, looking to see if they can cash in on this bounty. Try to even out a score here, and It doesn't look like they're able to get in.
No. So poke being put down in mid lane. Both mid lanes going to be at half health. Hook by the Thresh. They're going to go on this? No. I think they sense the Karthus is there. And we'll see. So Sejuani's going to stay alive again in the top lane. And no ult use by the Karthus does not have his ult up, unfortunately. Ezreal would be low enough where they could probably go for an all-in on him, would have killed him, but unfortunately Karthus ult is not up, and the global is not going to be able to use to their advantage. And back from the bot lane, going to be back from the mid lane most likely here. And we do have some first turret going over to Rochester from the Aatrox up in the top lane, and he's been dominating that lane to say the least. Doesn't have any kills, but he has a 50 CS lead up there, and Mountain Drake being taken by St. Clair. I don't think Rochester's actually aware of this, so this is good wards put down by them, and we have the Thresh coming around, but he's not going to be able to contest this, and smited by the jungler.
Teleport coming
Thresh
in
actually
from the
going in
top.
on this, yeah. Xerath's coming in on the top, Aatrox coming in, teleported in, and pick up a kill on the bot. And flash out by Braum, he's going to stay safe. Karthus is going to go down, though. They did get the dragon, so they got the objective, and there was only one kill given over. Unfortunately, the Rift Herald was taken by Rochester. They were able to get that mid, and they're able to take down one turret, looking for a second here as well. And they're going to be able to get a second. They're going to try and run that Rift Herald as far as they can mid. He's going to get another charge on this third turret, actually. So very good use by Rochester of that Rift Herald. It will take advantage of the jungler being dead from St. Clair, and they get 2 towers in mid, and how about a quarter of the third tower there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Just crazy push right there in the mid game. It's gonna bode well for Rochester here, trying to end the game as early as possible with the lead that they've already occurred. 10k gold already at 14 minutes. Almost a completely
Insurmountable.
insurmountable.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for St. Clair to look at this. And on the board, they don't have any kills. They're down in CS across the lanes. Significant margin in top lane and about 20, 25 or so CS in the bot lane along with 4 kills. I think the only way they can really get back in this is maybe hitting those bounties from the Ezreal and the Vel'Koz and giving them to the Karthus or even the Lucian. Try and get them back in this game, but it's definitely going to be a tough road. Look at the items even. Lucian hasn't quite picked up an item yet. Neither has the Sejuani or the Xerath. So we got 2.5 items on the Ezreal. We have an item and a half on the Vel'Koz. We have an item and a half on Aatrox. So there's definitely very large leads in these lanes. When Sejuani getting hooked, you get combo from Vel'Koz and Thresh, and about 50 health in the heal given out by Lucian to save his save his top laner.
St. Clair's only way really back into this game right now is to force a team fight in which they're able to throw all of themselves onto and have Karthus die in the center of it.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough task to have. There's not a lot of map control. You see the wards being placed by Rochester all over the top half of the map. And even that Ezreal poke is definitely putting down this Lucian. So they're going to have to figure out a way to make a team fight, make something happen, or else this game is going to be over really quick.
Yeah, even with the Lucian ultimate right here, the turret's just going to go down to the combined assault of Rochester. And they're just slowly getting suffocated out with the ward play now. Yeah,
the vision game by Rochester is very well. And you see it in Kindred going all in on the Xerath here. Xerath survives, Sejuani staying alive. Oh, she steps out of the circle, and she Vel'Koz all across the circle, and he's going to pick up another kill. Ezreal's going to pick up a double kill, and he's going to go for a third on the Xerath. We'll see if Xerath actually stays alive, so does Ezreal. So Ezreal picked up an assist and 2 kills there. Vel'Koz picked up a kill, and Xerath did pick up first kill. Oh, and we got an Aatrox going all in on the Karthus. He's going to dunk him.
Ooh, and the flash right into him, and still able to actually
he still gets the kill. So I'd say it was a good trade for them. They picked up a kill on their side. Mid turret is going to be taken down. Xerath, 50 health left on the Ezreal. Xerath, unfortunately, not able to get that kill. Close, though. And they're going to try and take this inhibitor. And they're going to get it. And he's going to stand. Ooh, it was a good outplay. The Vel'Koz flash onto the Lantern. They were trying to stand on top of it. One of the good ways to stop someone from Lanterning back to Thresh is by standing on his Lantern. But unfortunately, not able to do that. And he's able to get to safety, and they were able to take mid inhibitor at 16 minutes. So they've now incurred a 12k gold lead. There is a kill on the Karthus and a kill on the Xerath, but it did cost them their lives. And a couple items being picked up across the board. Bork for Lucian, Luden's Echo for the Xerath, and Sejuani unfortunately still sitting at Sheen and armor.
And we can actually see Rochester right here, really committed to the ward game right here. Every player on their team picking up 2.
Yeah, and there's going to be another kill given to the Kindred. Karthus kind of just stuck in his own. He's trying to farm his own jungle, but unfortunately he's just not in control of that anymore.
Yeah,
so.
And I don't know if you ever knew this, but you can actually press the tittle key to ignore champions and click on Karthus on the Thresh Lantern.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's something.
And for anyone who doesn't know, the tittle key is the one next to the number 1 at the top left of your keyboard.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The other way to do it is you can also zoom in as close as possible, and you're still able to click the lantern. Oh. A lot harder to zoom in really quickly, especially for those who have the mouse wheel bind to something.
Yeah. So it's definitely something I'll have to think about in my gold games that I'm playing. But yeah, so it looks like when they're up 13k gold almost in this game, and 11-2 the scoreline. The first 2 layers of turrets are taken in the side lanes. Mid lane they've taken the inhibitor there, and it looks like Rochester is just gonna take their gold lead. And as long as they're not going to, I don't know, there's gonna be a good way for St. Clair to get back in this game. The Karthus is gonna scale, and he is gonna be doing a lot of damage at some point, but it's going to be tough for St. Clair to stick it out until that point. And Lucian does fall off. Ezreal has a little bit later fall off than Lucian does. So he's going to still be doing a lot of damage, especially with that lead. Vel'Koz's ult is going to be thrown out. Not going to do much, just kind of zoning.
I think it's fair to say that at this point, St. Clair needs a miracle to try to get back into this game.
Yeah, for sure. So good hook by the Thresh, able to pick up the Sejuani kill. Braum also trying to save Sejuani. He also dies for it. Bot lane turret taken. And this is going to be close to the end of the game. Inhibitor taken by Rochester against St. Clair. And they have 2 inhibitors down. So we'll see if they try and end here. They possibly could. The Karthus is just getting back to base. Thresh hook. And they're going to go all in on the Xerath. Quick kill. Kindred's going to throw down his ult. Kindred's going to keep his whole team alive. And Karthus ult comes down. We'll see if he can get any kills. Picks up no kills, unfortunately. And they're all very low, so this could be a potential turning point. And it looks like Rochester's going to play it safe. They're going to back. They took 1 Nexus turret, and they're going to leave the other one up at about half health for now. But they have 2 inhibitors down. They have the Baron coming up soon. And they have a lot of vision all over the map. You can see there's pink wards scattered all over the St. Clair jungle. So they're going to know pretty much every movement that St. Clair makes anywhere outside of their own base.
Yeah, Rochester playing this really cleanly. There's not really any, if at all, a single mistake they're currently making other than the 2 deaths that they have.
And I mean, even those, I think they were kind of, they already got 3 kills during those fights. So, I mean, it was still a win for them in their books. But unfortunately, I don't think St. Clair is going to find any way back into this. They're 60 CS down in top lane. They're 50 CS in mid lane, 30 CS in bot lane, and the 802 Ezreal is a monster right now. He's hitting 3.5 items. He has his 2nd tier going strong, and I mean, there's 2,000 gold bounties on the table as an opportunity for St. Clair to pick up, and that might get them back somewhere into the game if they can get him on Karthus. But it's going to be so hard with all this vision by Rochester in the jungle. It's not even going to be able to contest the Baron, even if they want to go for it. I think they're just going to wait it out. I think they're going to wait for that mid inhibitor to come back online. And it looks like they're going to start the Baron here.
Yeah, both inhibitors down, forcing them to stay in their base. Aatrox with teleport up. No one can 1v1 him, so they'd have to send 2 people. And just the response, no response from Saints Gaming. Not able to really push that far outside of their base right now.
Even if they wanted to contest that, they really couldn't, because they have no vision in the jungle. There are pink wards everywhere, and this looks like a clean win in a couple minutes from... Ooh, Karthus looks like he gets caught out by the Ezreal and Thresh. Good hooks. Thresh had some really good hooks this game, I have to say. Even in those early games, with the hook on the Lucian, hook on the Braum, He's able to build those magnificent leads for the
Yeah.
Ezreal.
Thresh
And
definitely carrying the lane in the early game,
yeah, for
really
sure.
deciding how that was going to go. And them just being able to pick the double kill really, really secured that bot lane for them.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like they're going to try and take this last inhibitor in top lane. Mid lane inhibitor is taken by the Aatrox. And last team fight, Kindred throws down the ult, keeps his team alive, keeps Sejuani alive as well, and Ezreal ult comes through. No kills come through. Karthus ult comes down. We'll see if it'll kill anyone. Ooh, the shield provided by Thresh actually keeping Kindred alive.
Yeah.
And they took the last Nexus turret. Looks like this might be it. One last team fight, possibly one last Fiesta, but it looks like it's, ooh, Thresh hits a hook and goes golden, stays alive, takes down the Karthus. Thresh does die, but it looks like they're just going to crash the base. Sejuani is going to take pass, and looks like this is going to be
And that's,
it.
yep, that's going to be a
Baron
game
of
for
Power Minions,
Rochester
yeah, for
there.
sure.
In the round of 2, best of 3 for Collegiate League of Legends.
So they do have 2 games to come back. It was a pretty clean game. No deaths for the mid laner or the ADC by Rochester. And unfortunately for St. Clair, they're going to have to pick something